Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones. I'm doing a video where my grandma gave me this. She gave me this meat. It's deer meat. About maybe 2 years ago. And what I decided to do is I had it in the freezer for the 2 years, and I just took it out maybe on Sunday. And you see this container right here full of dark water. It's deer blood and water. I wanted to thaw out. What I plan on doing is I guess you're gonna see me prepare some meat in some form or fashion. At least cutting it up, and I'm gonna vacuum seal it. Step out of the way. You see right there, that black tool right there. That's a vacuum sealer made by Food Saver, and I got it last year. And uh, started vacuum sealing food. So right now I'm just gonna got a pretty sharp knife. I'm just gonna see if I can cut this up, and not do much damage to it. It's coming up. It's coming apart pretty well. Yeah, very hit some bone. Keep cutting. There we go. See, it looks it's a little dark. It's a little not as dark, not as red as it should be on the sides. But cut into it, it's still nice and red. I guess what I plan on doing with this is just cutting up in pieces, and I'm gonna vacuum seal. Putting these I got some Food Saver bags up here. I'm gonna vacuum seal the meat. I may throw some seasoning on it. Um, and date it. And just put it in the freezer. Keep it for a rainy day. It's been there. It's been in the freezer, like I said, for 2 years, but it hasn't been properly wrapped up. So I figured I figured it's time I take it apart, or I rather I thaw it and then cut it into pieces, and then vacuum seal it, and then save it for a day where I may decide to have some deer meat one day, or may save it for an emergency. This is just the Food Saver is just one of the things I've done as far as food preps go. Pretty good sharp knife. Um, I bought some groceries. See, it's still nice and red. Not bad for being frozen for 2 years. um, got a lot of canned foods. I keep in a personal storage, and it came in handy one day. I lost my job a few years back, and before I got another job, I had to. I didn't want to spend much money on stuff. Um, so I actually went to my food storage and took a little bit out. After I got another job, which was very soon after, maybe 2.5 weeks later. Um, I replenished my supply. It's always good to do if you ever have to go into your stock, whether it be I guess not really a shit fan situation, but it's a small scale one, it's a personal one. But you wanna make sure that you replenish your stock after taking some out. That goes with with a lot of things, with clothing, with ammo, even if you have bandages, and you've been keeping those in a large first aid storage, and you had to get some out. It's good to replenish it so that the time comes when you may not be able to get bandages. You at least you replace what you took out. Cut some of the skin off. Always good to have a sharp knife. I sharpened this knife before I started doing all this. I may have to refine the edge a bit more. It has some bright spots on it where there are areas where it's dull. Still smells good. Smells like beef. You know. I don't eat a lot of deer meat, honestly. I think I only had deer I only had deer once. It was deer sausage back in high school. But smelling raw deer meat smells like beef. Looks like beef. Probably tastes the same. I'll know when I decide to eat it. Cut some more meat off this. And my first food processing video. Personally, the reason why I keep a food storage is because, well, for one thing, where I live, I can't do what some other people may say they'll do is they'll go out and hunt. I really can't do that where I live. I live in the city. On top of that, I never field dressed a deer before. I mean, it's one thing, one thing to kill it, one thing to kill an animal, but then there's another thing to have to process it for for consumption. There's some meat right here. Cut some more of this. Still good meat. But yeah, I'm not the sort that actually go out and start killing, start going hunting for animals. If worse comes to worse, I just don't have the skills right now. Don't know. I'm not really familiar with all that goes into hunting deer or anything, hunting animals like that. So at least where I live, I can utilize the resources that I have close by at hand, taking care of myself if something catastrophic were to happen. I think this is all done. Another tip with food processing: anytime you're cutting up a meat like this, don't chuck it right away. Instead, the best thing you can do is boil it. What boiling will do is it'll loosen up all the fat, and it'll make the meat soft, and make all the sinew and make the muscle much softer. You can actually just start to peel it away. You can actually start to just strip this off the bone. So it's a good way. It's recycling meat, or you're using every bit of the meat as you can. You don't want to. Even though this is a time where things are relatively okay, you want to develop these skills for ever the time where things become not okay. You have the skills that you integrate into your common day-to-day life to use during an emergency. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to boil this. I'm going to slow boil it so that it works through the meat pretty thoroughly. And I'm going to see what meat I can salvage off of this. I'll show you some that I have right now. That's all the meat that I'm going to season, and I'm going to cut into smaller strips, and I'm going to vacuum seal it with a food saver. But that's the video. It's my first food processing video. Got to clean this mess up. Also good, it's always good to keep gloves on hand. I'm just gonna peel these off and handle the rest of this. But food processing video, first deer I ever cut on a video. I'm Edward Jones, and thank you for watching my video. Glove off.